Throughout history, humanity has been haunted by the concept of hell, a place of unimaginable torment and eternal suffering. A realm where evil meets its ultimate end. But what does the Bible say about this bottomless pit of evil? And what do ancient Jewish writings reveal about this dreaded domain? Hell, also known as Hades, the underworld, Gehenna, Sheol, the netherworld, the abyss, the demon realm, the burning hells, Chaoplasm, Inferno, along with countless other names, is the spiritual realm of evil, along with being the domain of Lucifer and Satan, their legions of demons and damned souls within Abrahamic religions. In the Bible, hell is described with vivid imagery, painting a picture of a place filled with agony and despair. In the book of Revelation, we find one of the most chilling descriptions. Revelation 20 verse 10 states, "The devil, who deceived them, was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone where the beast and the false prophet are. And they will be tormented day and night forever and ever." Amen. This passage depicts hell as a lake of fire, a place where torment is unending and where evil faces its ultimate punishment. Hell is a realm that exists in the deepest and darkest layers of the universe, in the farthest and distant place possible from the light of God. Hell is one of the three main realms of the overseen by God: heaven, hell, and the human realm that exists as the neutrality between the realms of good and evil. Hell is described as the most terrifying, horrible plane of existence where the wicked and sinful are punished for eternity for their sins, and often in the most horrific of ways. It is so terrible, in fact, that even demons despise it, with many losing their sense of self and become nothing but mindless spirits. It is a vast chaotic realm, far larger than the human world, filled with a myriad of domains ruled by many demon lords and house different demons fighting each other for dominance. Since many demons fight for control of hell's regions, the dominion of hell is always available to the strongest of devils. In hell is where people are condemned and punished for their crimes and evils during life. Even if a person manages to escape the punishment of men during their lifetime, they will not be able to escape Yaldabaoth's punishment in hell. The time for repentance is during life, not after death, and unlike heaven and earth, hell is the fairest place in the universe, since there is no mercy for those who do evil, no matter the position, amount of money, supplications, or prayers. None of this saves a person from hell, because there is no hope there. Hell is such a horrible place that even the devil himself doesn't like to be there. Hell is believed to be a realm that is far larger than the human world, and that houses different regions or kingdoms where various demon lords, demonic nobles and devils rule, much like the global hierarchy of earth. Hell is ever growing, and it differs for every person, with only those of the supernatural being able to see the true hell. In the words of St. Paul's vision of heaven and hell, if the sinner's crimes are particularly serious and dangerous, special torture chambers shall be built specifically for these sinners, where they will be tortured non-stop for eternity that couldn't be described by mere words. Hell is similar to purgatory but differs in the fact that hell is usually seen as a permanent state of suffering and evil, opposed to purgatory, which is traditionally seen as a place of temporary punishment before being admitted into paradise. Purgatory, however, is also known to be another form of hell for the monsters of earth. Despite this thought, hell isn't permanent for most, just a provisional punishing for whatever done when alive. After the punishment, they are placed in purgatory and are allowed to make up for these sins, giving them a chance to enter heaven. Hell is the punishment, purgatory is the redemption, and heaven is the reward. The flames of hell are said to be inextinguishable, and a demon stated that the pain the humans experience on earth is nothing but a tick bite compared to the pain in hell. However, hell can also be seen as a metaphor for a life without God, and some religions do not see hell as a physical place but rather a state of mind caused by sin or darkness. Ancient Jewish writings also provide insights into the concept of hell. In the apocryphal book of 1 Enoch, we encounter detailed descriptions of a fiery abyss. 1 Enoch 21, 7-10 says, "I saw a great fire there which burnt and blazed, and the place had a cleft as far as the abyss, full of great pillars of fire made to fall, neither its extent or magnitude could I see, nor was I able to estimate. Then I said, how fearful is the place and how great is its pain." These ancient Enochic texts echo the biblical portrayal of hell as a place of fiery torment and relentless suffering. Also, unlike the seven heavens, hell is a homogeneous dimension, composed of only one layer. Despite this, its inhabitants divided the dimension into 9 different realms, called circles, namely 1. Gate of Hell. The Gate of Hell, as obvious by its name, is one of the gateways to hell itself. It is where the souls of the damned are led during their time in purgatory and when they have committed sins during their life in the human world. It is guarded by thousands of various kinds of demon and other creatures who reside in hell. The gate is also guarded by an angel of death and some Cerberus, so that no lesser demons could ever escape it and only damned souls and spirits could enter it. 2. The Limbo. Limbo is the first circle of hell, along with being the edge of hell, is the place that it was speculative about the afterlife condition of those who die in the original sin without being assigned to the hell of the damned and also the burning place. It is also connected to one of the doors of heaven, along with being connected to the underworlds of other mythologies and religions. At the end of Limbo, where the souls of the damned are sentenced to their suffering by King Minos of the Greek pantheon. Afterwards, stands the Hellmouth, which acts like a torturous gate for the rest of hell. 3. Lust. Lust is the second circle of hell, where lies the souls of those that let their desire override reason. These carnal malefactors are condemned for allowing their appetites to sway their reason. These souls are buffeted back and forth by the terrible winds of a violent hurricane that constantly rages across the circle, without rest. This symbolizes the power of lust to blow needlessly and aimlessly, as the lovers drifted into self-indulgence and were carried away by their passions, so now they drift forever. The bright, voluptuous sin is now seen as it is, a howling darkness of helpless discomfort. Since lust involves mutual indulgence and is not, therefore, completely self-centered, it is the least heinous of the sins, and its punishment is the most benign within hell proper. The ruined slope in this circle is thought to be a reference to the earthquake that occurred after the death of Christ. Asmodeus was considered the demon and prince of lust. 4. Gluttony. Gluttony is the third circle of hell, where lies the souls of those that devoted themselves to self-indulgence. The gluttonous wallow in a vile, putrid slush produced by a ceaseless, foul, icy rain, a great storm of putrefaction, as punishment for subjecting their reason to a voracious appetite. Cerberus, the monstrous three-headed beast of hell, ravenously guards the gluttons lying in the freezing mire, mauling and flaying them with his claws as they howl like dogs. The gluttons grovel in the mud by themselves, sightless and heedless of their neighbors, symbolizing the cold, selfish, and empty sensuality of their lives. Just as lust has revealed its true nature in the winds of the previous circle, here the slush reveals the true nature of sensuality, which includes not only overindulgence in food and drink, but also other kinds of addiction. In the modern era, this circle now also resided sinners with environment-related crimes and had polluted the environment. Here, those who had taken part in the act of polluting the earth and endangering humanity, both of which considered to be two of the greatest works of God, are damned to eternity. Beelzebub represents the demon of gluttony and envy. 5. Greed. Greed is the fourth circle of hell, where lies the souls of those that either hoard possessions or squandered them. Those whose attitude toward material goods deviated from the appropriate mean are punished in the fourth circle. They include the avaricious or miserly, who hoarded possessions, and the prodigal, who squandered them. The hoarders and spendthrifts joust, using great weights as weapons that they push with their chests. In this circle, there are seas of molten gold, where the souls of the damned can be seen screaming. The main punishment for this circle is to be boiled alive in the molten gold below, as they are condemned for hoarding too closely or spending too freely with the riches. With every time a new golden statue being created, the damned soul would be resurrected so that they have to endure the suffering over and over again. Mammon is the demon associated with greed. 6. Anger. Anger, also known as hatred or wrath, is the fifth circle of hell, where lies the souls of those who let anger rule their lives. In the middle of the circle is the city of Dis, where the wardens tasked with guarding this circle lived. The entire circle resembles an endless sea of swampy and filthy black water, which is noted to be polluted by the abandoned hopes and unfulfilled dreams of the deceased. The water is noted to be boiling hot, yet is freezing cold to touch and could restore the body and the mind at a terrible cost. Underneath the black water are dangerous demonic sea monsters of all shapes and forms, all having jet-black scales and gleaming blood-red eyes. In anger, the damned are cursed to drown in the marshes in the swampy, stinking waters of the Black River, where actively wrathful fight each other viciously on the surface of the slime, while the sullen lie beneath the water, withdrawn into a black sulkiness which can find no joy in God or man or the universe. At the surface of the foul Stygian marsh, the active hatreds rend and snarl at one another. At the bottom, the sullen hatreds lie gurgling, unable even to express themselves for the rage that chokes them. As the last circle of incontinence, the savage self-frustration of the fifth circle marks the end of that which had its tender and romantic beginnings in the dalliance of indulged passion. The main punishment for this place is to be forever stuck underneath the Black River, never to be released. The exact information about what waiting for the sinners under the water is only known to the wardens themselves, as anger is one of the most unpredictable and flickering emotions, and most punishments here are easy to change based on the warden's current moods. Eshma is the hypostatic entity associated with anger. 7. Entrance to Dis. In the distance, there lie high towers that resemble fiery red mosques, which is later revealed to be the city of Dis. Dis, itself surrounded by the Stygian marsh, contains lower hell within its walls. The city walls are guarded by fallen angels, the Furies, and Medusa. 8. Heresy. Heresy, also known as the circle of the devil lovers, is the sixth circle of hell where lies the souls of every heretic and follower of every demonic cult. It also includes the city of Dis. In the sixth circle, heretics are trapped in flaming tombs. This circle resembles a colossal temple of an unknown deity, with images and statues of famous pagan deities, all demonized and or modified to become twisted and disgusting. Underneath the temple is a giant tomb, both endless and bottomless, contained within are countless numbers of sinners being punished for their sins. In this circle, the heretics such as Epicureans are trapped alongside those who denied the existence of God and his angels. It is also the hellish afterlife of those who worship the false idols and gods, as well as those who committed crimes for their cults. Those who made deals and or connections with demons will all end it here, no matter how little their interactions and sins are. 9. Violence. The seventh circle, divided into 3 rings, houses the violent where sinners whom have committed violence against others and themselves. Ring 1, against neighbors. In the first round of the seventh circle, the murderers, war-makers, plunderers, and tyrants are immersed in the Phlegethon, a river of boiling blood and fire. The centaurs, commanded by Chiron and Pholus, patrol the ring, shooting arrows into any sinners who emerge higher out of the boiling blood than each is allowed. Ring 2, against self. The second round of the seventh circle is the wood of the suicides, in which the souls of the people who attempted or committed suicide are transformed into gnarled, thorny trees and then fed upon by harpies, hideous clawed birds with the faces of women. The trees are only permitted to speak when broken and bleeding. In this circle are also the souls of those who showed little care for or damaged their own possessions, known as spendthrifts. Their punishment is to eternally run away from pursuing beasts whom wish to maul them. Ring 3, against God, art, and nature. The third round of the seventh circle is a great plain of burning sand scorched by great flakes of flame falling slowly down from the sky, an image derived from the fate of Sodom and Gomorrah. The blasphemers, the violent against God, are stretched supine upon the burning sand. The sodomites, the violent against nature, run in circles, while the usurers, the violent against art, which is the grandchild of God, crouch huddled and weeping. 10. Fraud. The eighth circle, called Malbolge, evil ditches, is the upper half of the hell of the fraudulent and malicious. The eighth circle is a large funnel of stone shaped like an amphitheater around which run a series of 10 deep, narrow, concentric ditches or trenches called bulge. Within these ditches are punished those guilty of simple fraud. From the foot of the great cliff to the well are large spurs of rock, like umbrella ribs or spokes, which serve as bridges over the 10 ditches. Fraud is divided into 10 trenches, called bulgia. Each bulgia holds a different kind of fraudulent souls. In bulgia 1, the panderers and seducers march in separate lines in opposite directions, whipped by demons. In bulgia 2, the flatterers are steeped in human excrement, which represents the words they produced. In bulgia 3, those who committed simony are placed headfirst in holes in the rock with flames burning on the soles of their feet. In bulgia 4, the sorcerers, astrologers, and false prophets here have their heads twisted around on their bodies backward, referring primarily to attempts to see into the future by forbidden means. In bulgia 5, corrupt politicians are immersed in a lake of boiling pitch, which represents the sticky fingers and dark secrets of their corrupt deals. In bulgia 6, the hypocrites listlessly walking along wearing gilded lead cloaks, which represent the falsity behind the surface appearance of their actions. In bulgia 7, thieves are pursued and bitten by snakes and lizards. The full horror of the thieves' punishment is revealed gradually. Just as they stole other people's substance in life, their very identity becomes subject to theft here, and the snake bites make them undergo various transformations. In bulgia 8, the fraudulent advisors or evil counselors are concealed within individual flames. These are not people who gave false advice, but people who used their position to advise others to engage in fraud. In bulgia 9, a sword-wielding demon hacks at the sowers of discord, dividing parts of their bodies as in life they divided others. As they make their rounds the wounds heal, only to have the demon tear apart their bodies again. Finally, in bulgia 10, various sorts of falsifiers, fake alchemists, counterfeiters, perjurers, and impostors, who are a disease on society, are themselves afflicted with different types of diseases. By the end of the Malbolge is the central well, at the bottom of which lies the ninth and final circle of hell. The classical and biblical giants, who perhaps symbolize pride and other spiritual flaws lying behind acts of treachery, stand perpetual guard inside the well pit, their legs embedded in the banks of the ninth circle while their upper halves rise above the rim and can be visible from the Malbolge. Among the giants, there is Nimrod who tried to build the Tower of Babel. Final circle of hell is treachery. Treachery is the ninth circle of hell where lies the souls of those who betrayed that which matters most. It acts as a prison for powerful and dangerous figures such as Samael and Kokabeel. It also serves as a home to many rare and dangerous creatures such as the pale horse. It's for those who committed the gravest sins or those who perpetrated betrayals were eternally bound in the cruelest depths of hell. There are 4 concentric zones, or rounds, to treachery, each in descending order of seriousness, from betrayal of family ties, to betrayal of community ties, betrayal of guests, and betrayal of liege lords. Round 1, named Kaina, after Cain, who killed his brother. Traitors to kindred are here immersed in the ice up to their chins. Round 2, named Antenor, after Antenor of Troy, who according to medieval tradition, betrayed his city to the Greeks. Traitors to political entities, such as parties, cities, or countries, are located here and imprisoned in the same way as the traitors in Kaina. Round 3, named Ptolomea, after Ptolemy, son of Abibus, who invited Simon Maccabeus and his sons to a banquet and then killed them. Traitors to their guests are punished here, lying supine in the ice, which covers them, except for their faces. They are punished more severely than the previous traitors, since the relationship to guests is an entirely voluntary one. Round 4, named Judecca, after Judas Iscariot, biblical betrayer of Christ. Here are the traitors to their lords and benefactors. All of the sinners punished within are completely encapsulated in ice, distorted in all conceivable positions. Finally, we have the anti-inferno, or the anti-hell, which is a region located after the gates of hell, but before the Acheron. Here are the souls of people whom in life did not align themselves with either good or evil, and thus do not deserve the greatness of heaven, but have not done anything to deserve eternal damnation in hell either. They are condemned to eternally run in circles around a sign with nothing written on it, being followed and stung by a swarm of enraged insects, on a ground covered in worms that feast on their tears and blood. This circle is guarded by fallen angels that were present during the war in heaven, but did not ally with neither God or Lucifer. They are condemned to run in vain alongside the slothful with the same sign that represents nothing, while they are stung by wasps that make them bleed, and their feet are eaten by worms attracted by the blood as punishment for never having been active, never having followed any ideal, and never having clearly taken a stand. Throughout the centuries, theologians have grappled with the nature of hell. Some view it as a literal place of fire and brimstone, while others interpret it more metaphorically. Regardless of the interpretation, the common thread remains: hell is a manifestation of ultimate separation from God and a consequence of unrepentant evil. From the biblical writings in the Book of Revelation, to ancient Jews' apocryphal writings such as the Book of Enoch, the Apocrypha of St. Paul and the Lesser Keys of King Solomon who interviewed the demon Beelzebub and many more others, we are able to get a glimpse of hell and its torments as visualized and recorded, and I must say, hell is not a place we would wish anyone to end up in. Hell, a place of torment, a bottomless pit of evil, and a reminder of the consequences of sin. While the descriptions are terrifying, they serve a purpose, to remind us of the stark contrast between a life aligned with God's will and one that rejects it. As we reflect on these teachings, may we be guided towards a path of righteousness and avoid the horrors of the bottomless pit of evil. Let's end with a verse that promises new beginning for us all sinners. Revelation 3 verse 19 says, "Those whom I love, I reprove and discipline, so be zealous and repent." Amen.